McVeigh, let's take you straight to Ottawa, the Canadian capital. Justin Trudeau is just beginning to speak.
Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre.
So typically, Justin Trudeau will speak alternate between English and French. So we expect that you'll be hearing him. If you don't understand or speak French yourself, we expect to hear him in English again shortly.
De servir dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, depuis 2015, je me suis battu pour ce pays, pour vous, pour renforcer la classe moyenne. Pourquoi nous nous sommes mobilisés en tant que Canadiens pour se soutenir les uns les autres pendant la pandémie, pour faire progresser la réconciliation, pour défendre le libre-échange sur notre continent, pour notre soutien inébranlable de l'Ukraine et de la démocratie, et pour lutter contre les changements climatiques et préparer l'économie de l'avenir. Nous traversons vraiment un moment critique dans le monde. My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning, I advised the Governor General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader.
Let's go! Let's go!
After the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Another one.
Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
If I had to fight internal battles, he's blaming party infighting, my friends. What's popping? Happy January 6th. Happy January 6th, Insurrection Day. You guys know MSNBC is running a 24/7 January 6th marathon right now. So this is your escape from that. This is your escape from January 6th liberal hysteria. As we laugh at, and I describe January 6th as probably the funniest day in American history. American history is a day full of tragedies. It's a history full of tragedies. January 6th is a funny fucking, it's one of the few moments in American history that just outright funny. And now on the day of January 6th, we get a resignation from Justin Trudeau. And you guys see what he just said there. He try to make a slick excuse, try to blame party infighting. I'll rewind for a few seconds. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's the excuses you're using. You guys realize that Justin Trudeau started off with Obama-level momentum. He had a 60% approval rating. He was extremely popular. I remember this clearly in 2016 when he rose to power. He was extremely popular, beloved by Canadians. And now all the polls show that all of the parties are far right. I'm going to show you guys why here soon. But the right-wing Conservative Party in Canada is trouncing Trudeau under his leadership. So in a way, when a lot of people compared him to Barack Obama back in the day, because he had a lot of Barack Obama comparisons, a young, people considered him handsome politician on the scene with a lot of popularity and support. And then he took that political mandate and drove it into a ditch because he was obsessed with war and government authoritarianism. And because of his incompetence, his party is now suffering all across the nation. We're seeing a resurgence of the. I consider all these people right wingers. That's why I gotta be careful with my words here. But I say Conservative Party. I think that's a good way to say it. The Conservative Party in Canada, the same way conservative parties. The reason why I say that because I don't like using left, right, because all these parties are right wing. They're like, oh my God, there's a right wing takeover in Europe right now. Like, bro, liberal parties are funding genocide and arming Nazis in Ukraine. So I don't allow these imperialists, colonialists to define the Overton window for me. But the Conservative Party in Canada is taking over because his incompetence. What do you think happens to a populace if they see you want to support endlessly the Ukrainians? You are supporting genocidal maniacs in Israel way more than you supporting your citizens. Whenever there's a crackdown, you illegally fucking freeze bank accounts. You double down on harsh mandates and other authoritarian policies. My biggest gripe with Trudeau, just like my gripe with the neoliberal governments and whole, is their endless support of Zionism, imperialism, their embrace of police state, capitalist, authoritarian ideology. And watching the corporate media discuss it, I guess we can watch a little bit more of this speech, maybe. I actually want to dive more into the excuse making. You see, in the very beginning of the speech, you immediately mentioned how we're standing with Ukraine, our partners. Isn't it funny how the mainstream media is completely incurious on why all these European leaders who pledged endless support for a war in Ukraine that had nothing to do with their people, that was caught lying about what caused the Ukraine war, sending their resources over there? And especially in Europe, this is a big problem because now we have a halting of the transit of gas that comes through Ukraine to Europe when we already have an energy crisis where German and UK families, they're paying 2 times more for energy than they used to. There's a massive energy crisis in Europe, and now it's getting worse. And why? That's because they have this unending desire to provoke war with Ukraine, provoke war with NATO. And because of that, we're seeing a direct fall of the quality of life in people in the West. So they always make these funny excuses, and I guess we could watch more of that speech, but I won't read this because some of these, I've been following this story and the fall of Western leaders because everyone been saying that the start of the Ukraine war will be the end of Putin, but we have another person who fall into the Zelensky curse. The Zelensky curse strikes once again, my friends. The amount of people that said in 2022 that the Ukraine war will be the end of Vladimir Putin, it was a mainstream narrative. They're like, oh, yeah, Putin miscalculated. this will be the end of Russia. The sanctions will mark the end of Russia. The Russian people are going to revolt, and then we're going to see a big crackdown. Then the Russian economy is going to crumble, going to collapse. It was endless. We covered it at the time. It went from Putin is screwed, an amount of prime ministers. How many leaders have the UK been through since then? France isn't completely in shambles. You have the prime minister of Finland resign, the female imperialist Nazi lover. We are seeing pro-NATO parties being rejected all over countries like Georgia, Romania, which is leading to an unapologetic fascist crackdown by the West in order to prevent this political bleeding from a ruling class that put all their political eggs in endless war and in support of NATO, Zelensky, and just intense Russia and xenophobia. You're not going to convince me that my enemy is China or Russia or Iran when NATO is an offensive military organization where all the leaders and all the fucking member states are supporting and arming a genocide. Here is Justin Trudeau showing how much he's willing to fight for the Canadian people. I don't know if you guys hear that, but that's Justin Trudeau chanting Slava Ukraini. If you ask all these European leaders, including Justin Trudeau, they will talk about Ukraine all the time, way more passionately than they will talk about helping their own people. We have Joe Biden that just, I think it was $8 billion. I had to fact check myself. $8 billion weapon deal he just sent to Israel. It won't take that long fact checking myself. Yeah, $8 billion. Here it is. Biden approved sale of $8 billion in additional bombs, missiles, and arms to Israel. So there are a lot of people who are not even ideologically anti-imperialist and anti-war like I am. But if you're someone who's generally living a normie life, right, and you see that our government is pledging so much money and so much support to a foreign country while you get nothing, do liberals think that is a good thing for them? Do liberals think it's a coincidence that they lost in a historic landslide, the first time they lost a popular vote since I was in middle school? Grown-ass man in my 30s. Lost the popular vote for the first time since I was in middle school. Do they think that's a coincidence that happened as they are sending endless amount of money to Ukraine and as they pledge endless support for a genocide in Israel in a NATO proxy war? How does that make sense? So now, if you look at the article, I love reading the mainstream media cope about why these Western leaders are losing. They will never tell you the true answer. They will never tell you what's really going on, because one thing that was important for the neoliberal class to defeat what you can call the conservative, evangelical, neocon right was this fraudulent left liberal alliance that was created by the CIA and Social Democrats, where there are a lot of people who had left ideas and had anti-war ideas that believed that their best choice was supporting someone like Justin Trudeau, was supporting someone like Obama. But after you support a genocide and after you support endless war, after it's completely exposed that you're a corporatist that is serving the elite, you completely lose any illusion of the left liberal alliance ever being a thing. So without the left liberal alliance, the liberals are left stranded fighting against conservatives, which they are not equipped to fight. Liberals and neoliberalism as a whole, this is why it enables fascism. Neoliberalism and people like Justin Trudeau, they fail the working class in their state. They crush the socialist option, which lead the people to choose and have no other option but fascism in the far right. Now, I understand now. I'm keeping this breakdown simple. You can make a complicated argument about Justin Trudeau being a fascist. Like, ideologically agreed or not, shutting down people's bank accounts is crazy. And I don't know why anyone will support that precedent that the government has that power to do that. especially knowing that will be waged against the left, be waged against people that actually challenge power. There are a lot of people, and there are people I argued with, right? There are a lot of people I argue with on the left, like, oh, fuck the Canadian truckers. I'm like, a lot of the Canadian truckers are capitalists, and it's funny to see capitalists infighting. But we would never, as Marxists and as socialists, should ever approve of a precedent of a government shutting down bank accounts. And this is why we are inherently better than the right. Because we are consistent. Because a lot of people pretend about free speech, but they see the left getting cracked down on free speech, and all of a sudden they don't give a fuck. These people claim to be against the government, then they see the police state crack down on people protesting against the police state. They don't give a fuck. Guys, we know that the right are hypocrites. We know they're full of shit, but that is what makes us better. That is what makes this inevitable struggle, the inevitable class struggle, to our advantage. We win by having the moral high ground. So even though they're inconsistent as fuck, we are consistent. And even though maybe these people disagree with me, I would never approve of a government having the president of seizing bank accounts, especially in a modern Western neoliberal era. But anyway, I'm ranting now. Continue to read this article, and the quote here is hilarious. Canadian Prime Minister, and also we can give you some background as well. Jumping in, wanting to discuss this story. There was a big snowstorm in Kansas City. I don't know if you guys seen the news, but it's crazy here. One of the worst blizzards we had in like a decade or two. So I was stuck in the house, bored as hell. I usually do my first hotspot of the week on Tuesday. So I'm like, man, I might as well jump on live and talk about this. Hope you guys enjoy this breaking live stream. Please like and share and subscribe. We've been having a lot of channel suppression on RBN. We have 1,300 people, almost 1,400 people watching on YouTube and X, but YouTube is cracking down on us very hard. So if you're enjoying this content, if you are someone who passing by, please subscribe. If you're someone who was subscribed, you probably was unsubscribed by YouTube because they've been unsubscribing our people by the thousands. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out our Patreon if you enjoy this content. So let's read into this. Justin Trudeau resigned from his position as the leader of the Liberal Party on Monday. Why it matters. The world's leading democracies are facing growing instability. Look at the phrasing. You guys know I'm a political nerd. I love analyzing propaganda ever since I started doing this a few years ago. It is so blatant. It's like when you analyze propaganda, it's like a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Like it's so obvious the message that they are pumping out. Why do they categorize people rejecting the direction that their government is heading to as instability? Because what is actually happening is that people are looking at the policies of the neoliberal class and they are rejecting it en masse. But you guys see how the corporate journalist propagandists, they define people rejecting their government as instability. No, it's an amazing and it's a beautiful thing when people reject the current government in power. I had a big tweet because I told people on Twitter, I'm predicting another pendulum swing. You guys saw what I was talking about on post duopoly. Well, I had a slight disagreement. I think it was Russell. Yeah, Russell from Due Dissonance. He was saying he think the Democrats have done it. And guys, Russell may be right, but I'm like, bro, the pendulum has swung so much, bro. The pendulum swung so much, and that could easily happen to the Democratic Party. But we are in a moment right now where people are currently rejecting the current neoliberal world order because their hypocrisies have been fully exposed. Their elitist, corporatist ideology fully exposed. Their unwillingness to fight for the working class, but their obsession with systems and institutions. They care more about systems and institutions than they do the working class, and they do the general well-being of the populace. So when you value systems over people, you get backlash, generally. What we want to happen is especially in this time. I think 2025 is such a great opportunity. Last year was tough, guys, because it's an election year. People are full of red, blue, partisan bullshit. There's grifters confusing people. Now is a great time because the left, the Democrats, they are demoralized. So they are looking for a direction to go. Meanwhile, there are people in MAGA who will be betrayed, and many of them are already feeling betrayed. So this is the best time for a revolutionary. For us to pick up the people on the sidelines, the people who are quit and giving up, and lead them to the direction of socialism before we descend into further fascism. There's not a more exciting time for me. I wish I had some of my brothers with me. Though. But it's a exciting time for anyone who's a real revolutionary. But if you are an establishment bootlicker, look at how they are describing it. The world's leading democracies are facing growing instability. This pure, oh, you motherfucking people are catching on to our grift. And that's what they call the threat of democracy. When Democrats say we lose, it's a threat to democracy, what they're saying is the threat of democracy is people not believing in their liberal system. It's people decolonizing their mind. The same liberals, and I've been having fun on Twitter today. The same liberals that are freaking out about January 6th because, once again, they worship institutions. They don't worship people. January 6th was a moment where an institution was under attack in their eyes, even though it really wasn't. So in their eyes, they saw an institution under attack, and that's the worst thing that could possibly happen. The same people who want us to freak out about January 6th are the same exact liberal cocksuckers who was laughing at genocide. Oh, you already know Breaking Streams is randy as hell. Look, this is what I tweeted today. Oh, we got another banger. It's incoming. I just tweeted this out. Another banger incoming. So as you guys see, I was already reading the news. I was stuck in the house because of this snowstorm. So I'm like, man, I might well go live today. Make sure you leave a like. We already got 1,600 people watching across X and Twitter. X and YouTube. Elon Musk says he's going to uplift informative, engaging, positive content. And I'm like, okay, that's a good thing. Because that means what we do at Hotspot, that's informative. It's engaging. In challenging the ruling class, there is literally nothing more positive in the world you can do than that, my friends. So we see, but X been good to me. YouTube sucks. In a nutshell. But these are the people. Remember the guy on the top right? The guy on the top right, he was laughing at the people describing the Palestinians being slaughtered. And by the way, Joe Biden is sending another $8 billion to Israel. Very great way to end their presidency, giving pardons to the Cash for Kids person. If you voted for Joe Biden, your soul is rotten. Like Joe Biden pardoned the Cash for Kids guy, the guy who sold children and gave them false sentences. Oh, geez. Fucking pardon them. The local populace is devastated. And we're talking about the most morally bankrupt, evil people in the world. And I'm talking about the liberal class. And the veil is lifted. The illusion is gone. What I see, I'm finally starting to see more people acknowledge it. The Kalinskis, the Vosches, these people who have dominated and still dominate a lot of the narrative, worshiping the Democratic Party, but those people are completely discredited among ordinary working class people because everyone see the pure barbarism known as liberalism, where they laugh and they cheer and they snide at people standing for genocide. But they want you to care about January 6th. They want you to mourn the falling of these institutions, which is what the January 6th is all about. You know how many times I've seen these corporate cocksuckers, they all believe say, oh, I don't really have an ideology. This is what like Joe Scarborough will say. He would say, I don't really have an ideology. I'm more of an institutionalist. They just say it out loud. That's you telling on yourself. An institution that doesn't serve the populace is worthless. It's the definition of authoritarianism. As these people want to lecture China, and people want to lecture North Korea. Oh, guys, by the way, North Korea Power Hour is coming. It's coming, guys. I'm definitely want to get that in. What's poppin', kid? Great show you did with Misty earlier. I need to have Misty Winston back. We overdue for a rant session. I need to have you back on, brother. As always, great morning show from our brother Kid from Harlan's Media. Make sure you guys check out that banger. No, we're dropping bangers after bangers. That banger we dropped on Friday with Post Duopoly. You guys know YouTube like to suppress our streams, but that stream was so powerful they couldn't even suppress that one. That's how powerful that shit was. But by the way, do you guys know Germany is a failed state, damn near. There's no free speech, energy prices through the roof, economy. I heard economists explain that the German economy, especially after their actions, are cutting off their dependence on Russian gas. It's never going to recover. If it does recover, it's going to take 30 to 40 years just to get where it was at around 2005. Let me see if I can find a recent headline. I know this is Germany economy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Germany's economy goes from bad to worse. Look, you can find endless stories about this. Germany's economy goes from bad to worse. So despite the fact that the German government completely failed, their people. But why is it journalists, why is Axios describing Olaf Scholz a genocidal, authoritarian maniac? He's the guy who's advocating for banning pro-Palestinian protests in Germany. In Berlin, Olaf Scholz is the maniac that they say that Vladimir Putin is. Anti-free speech. He's a failure on the economy. He's a neo-Nazi loving goon. And he played a giant part of remilitarizing Germany. As the German people are failing, Germany is remilitarizing. Isn't that great? Isn't it great that Imperial Japan, ruled by the same party that had to apologize for their war crimes in China, including taking Chinese comfort women? Japan is ruled by the party that literally refused to apologize for what they did in China, but they are remilitarizing because of the direction of the United States and NATO. The same way with Germany, where after the Nazis, Germany agreed to demilitarize. They remilitarized under Olaf Scholz. Olaf Scholz is an absolute fucking joke, and he has been a scourge on German politics. But this article describes him losing a no confidence vote in parliament as instability. The unprecedented government collapse in France. You mean I was about to say January 6th style coup, but it's what Emmanuel Macron did in France is way worse than January 6th. He pulled January 6th times 1,000, where the populace of France voted en masse for the left party. The left party dominated, and then he voided the election. And then Morning Joe, when they were discussing it, they was like, "Oh man, that was a masterful gambit." Oh, we doubted Justin Trudeau, but that was such a masterful gambit the way he shut down the left. Because after the left dominated the election, Emmanuel Macron teamed with the person they called a fascist, Marine Le Pen, in the fascist party in order to stop the left from taking over. So the people that are Western media, and guys, I'm showing you guys Axios, but the same with all these articles. You can copy and paste an actual Axios article, Washington Post, Atlantic. They are all saying the same thing. Oh my God, this marks a fall of Western democracy. Oh my God, no one's voting for neoliberalism no more, even though neoliberalism has failed them. And this is why Justin Trudeau is resigning. If you're wondering why this is going on, obviously Canadian politics is complex. There's a series of things that lead to him being extremely unpopular. I continue reading. His resignation came as polls indicated that the Liberal Party was set to be trounced by the opposition Conservative Party in the upcoming election, expected in or before October. So he was going to get destroyed, and this is what I mentioned earlier. Look at where his party is at. His party, there is massive infighting. That is what he described in his video. He got upset. I'm gonna play more of the video now that I gave you guys some context. He said the reason why he resigned is because of massive party infighting, meaning the people in his party want this motherfucker to go, because the same way that Barack Obama lost over 1,000 seats, the same way that Kamala Harris led to a cataclysm for the Democratic Party, that is what happened to Emmanuel Macron. That is what happened to Justin Trudeau in Canada, which is why I said on Twitter, this is the RBN celebration stream, because we are seeing people reject en masse neoliberalism. That number is starting to shrink even more. We have, and I'm speaking of the United States more than anything else because that's my specialty, but we have 50% of the people who are not, yeah, I'm not botched that. I know I bought that word earlier. 50% of the populace who rejected the two-party duopoly, which is the good news. I'm trying to remember, I think the number is 180 million. 180 million that didn't vote. Trying to find the exact number. The point being, I think it was like 180 million people who did not vote. So we are already gaining ground in people rejecting the system, and it's only going to get worse. Biden was actually the accelerist candidate. Now we're going to have Trump, who's going to be the accelerist for the libertarian chumps who fell for Trump. This is why we got to be here to pick 90 million. So I hella overestimated, I guess. 90 million. Thank you, Zoya. I don't know why I got 90 million. You guys know I never lied to you guys. I just fucked that up. 90 million didn't vote. Let's see if I can find a story. Oh, Jesus. I see a few people tweeting about it. So our numbers are getting up. So 80 million people didn't vote in 2020. So 10 million people 10 million more Americans abstained now compared to 2020. Anyway, the fall of the neoliberalism is clear. Here's the video. Let's watch a little bit more of this as I drink and calm myself down for a second. Let's watch a little bit more of his concession speech, because you're going to see, I was going to play this part again where he's like, yeah, I got to resign because the infighting, guys. The infighting.
The party selects its next leader.
I'll go back a little bit. Let's listen to this a little bit here.
So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it is
a great point. In a great super chat, Shaiabum has an 80% approval and did not let Mexico be bullied by Trump. Neoliberals are weak. Yep. That's the reason why neoliberalism is a branch of fascism. It leads to fascism. Socialism is the cure to fascism because we provide for the people. Where the people approve of a society that actually has a coherent central planning model, which is based on taking care of the people. The people choose that, instead of fascism, where neoliberalism abandons the people and gives them the same thing as fascism, but wrapped up in a pretty bow and tie or whatever. So if you have neoliberalism, which is essentially fascism, but presented in a nice way, the people are eventually going to choose the real fucking deal, which is usually rallied by culture war issues, led by a strong man who blames some sort of minority for the problems, the immigrants for the problems, the trans people. You guys see how you see the pattern? They push the culture war in order for people to embrace a more hardcore fascist ideology, which is essentially what we have now. Like, people, liberals are just now understanding the term oligarchy. People freaking out about Elon Musk and Trump. This is what you guys sign up for. It's the end result. Elon Musk and Trump, guys, is the end result and the most predictable shit that could possibly happen to a capitalist nation. Look at South Korea, which is a shithole, a cesspool, a government that is literally ran by a few dynasties. The Samsung crown prince runs South Korea. He's above the law. Workers have essentially no rights. This is the end result when you embrace hardcore. I was about to say trickle-down economics, but as I decolonize my mind, I don't like any of these terms because capitalism is inherently trickle-down economics. The whole goal is to transfer wealth. Anyway, you provoked me into a rant. Let's play more of the video, and I'm gonna show you guys the reasons why I'm happy and everyone should be happy about Justin Trudeau losing.
It's become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option.
If I am busy fighting internal battles, sir, the entire country hates you. Oh man, everyone for some haters in my party, bro. It's like AOC. AOC has an approval rating worse than Kamala Harris. You guys know that? Her approval rating hovers around the same as Hillary Clinton. But then AOC and the progressive left, like, man, it went for the fucking Jimmy Dores. It went for the RBNs. It went for the haters on the left infighting. AOC will be killing the game. No, you guys are unappealing to the working class, motherfucker, and that includes us. Hard pill to swallow. And I seen this headline. Fuck, I didn't save it. Let me see if I can find it. Where it said the reason why Justin Trudeau and his party has fallen is because his party shifted too far to the left. The guy who supported genocide. The dude who seized bank accounts for people protesting. The guy who supported neo-Nazis in Ukraine. Their takeaway is that Justin Trudeau is too far to the left. That's the takeaway from the party. They are cooked. Neoliberalism is cooked. The View on MSNBC, they already writing think pieces about how the Democratic Party needs to abandon the activist left. I showed you guys that before, but you guys know I love showing receipts because you never know who's watching this for the first time. You know, the Democrats begging their party to ditch the activist left. The liberal class just witnessed. I'm gonna fucking read your super chat, dude. Chill. I got you, bro. I got you. I just saw that one inside my I never purposely choose not to read super chat. You know, it either get lost in the sauce or I plan on reading it later. All right, cool. We understand each other. The message of the liberal class, even though we are seeing a complete tsunami of them being wiped out all across the United States, Canada, and Europe, is that, we need to shift farther to the right. This is why we need to be there for the people. This is why we don't watch and we don't follow these news just to laugh and cry. We want to understand how our enemies are operating. And when our government inevitably fails them, we need to be there for them, and that is exactly what's going to happen over the next few years. Wait, the Democratic Party they already fought AOC off, and now they're gonna endorse Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg. If you guys think the Democratic Party is bad now, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So we as activists, we have to be there for them, which is why in the year 2025, I pledge that we're gonna completely rebuild and modernize and have a complete RBN nationwide mutual aid organization. So yeah, I'm getting too ahead of myself. Anyway, let's continue. Let's discuss why you should hate Justin Trudeau. I really hope that Ro Khanna decides to come on. He seemed like he was excited to come on at first until he realized I wasn't a Democrat. Like, not even a progressive Democrat. One of the reasons why I'm not, because of the Ukraine war. I showed this clip before, but this is why you should not like Justin Trudeau. Sold out his country to Ukraine and NATO. This is him embarrassing his entire country in the world, yelling Slava Ukraini, a neo-Nazi slogan. There's an old hotspot I did on Justin Trudeau a while ago. Now, this is an old-ass clip. But yeah, this is, Canada invited Nazis into parliament. So this is an old hotspot video I did back when I had my little afro or whatever.
Trudeau in Canada is still dealing with the fallout of hosting and cheering a Nazi in the Canadian Parliament. Canada was so embarrassed, they are now extraditing the Nazi they just celebrated to Poland. We got him. This was such an embarrassing moment that Canada is now giving up the Nazi that they've been sheltering until he was the tender age of 98. Now Canada and Western officials are forced to give the funniest apology I ever heard in my life. Oops, I accidentally cheered for a Nazi, my bad. Another country apologizing is Germany for having the Germany ambassador to Canada at the event cheering a Nazi. A newly militarized Germany cheering on a Nazi. Not a good look. You have Justin Trudeau handling this as well as you expect he would. Justin Trudeau is blaming Russian disinformation for the fact that his government cheered on a Nazi war criminal. Fucking Russian disinformation tricking us into cheering for Nazis in our government. Not our fault we are collaborating with Nazis in Ukraine. The Russians tricked us. How dumb do they think we are? Those guys, the Nazis were never defeated. They was absorbed by the West.
Yeah, man, that's an OG hotspot. That's like, I think that's when was this video, dude? That was an OG hotspot video. Yeah, September 23rd. Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I think I was only doing a hotspot for like a few weeks. I started August 2023. So yeah, that's me early in the hotspot days. Man, big shout out to hotspot, man. It's all a hotspot video planned for tomorrow. I love hotspot. Anyway, this is what the mainstream media is avoiding talking about. Yeah, I think I took wake and bake a little bit. I think I went a little bit too hard on that video. I think probably. This is the Zelensky curse in a nutshell. They said that Putin must go, but it was actually them. You see RT having a fun time. I didn't realize it came from RT. Look at all the leaders. I think that the Finnish prime minister. Damn, man, there's been so many. Yeah, UK been through a few of them. So we're seeing the Zelensky curse strike once again. Now, another reason why this is a celebration is Justin Trudeau advocated for a crackdown on free speech. Like, you guys, like, the Biden administration was bad, but Canada, especially the Labour Party in UK, look at what they're doing to Richard Meadors, trying to throw him in prison for doing journalism. The modern liberal class had a burning hatred for the concept of free speech and journalism. So that is another reason we had the Ukraine war, his war on journalism, his war on free speech. And obviously he's a genocidal maniac. And now it came out. Let me find the story. I don't think I have it saved. It just came out officially. What we already knew. What I've been covering from day one. What our friends at the Gray Zone has been covering from day one. Since day one, we have completely debunked the bullshit narrative about mass rapes on October 7th. And now it's official. It's been confirmed that absolutely no rape allegations filed in the October 7th attack. We already knew this. We already knew this happened. The reason why people believe this, especially in the West, is because they are deeply racist, and they believe brown men or black men are more likely to engage in rape. Now I know you're like, Nick, what do you mean? Nope, that is exactly what it is. The idea that Hamas engaged in mass rape on October 7th was always absurd. The only reason people believed it because they was accusing Palestinians of doing it. They was accusing Arabs of doing it. The same way that white women used to blame black men and accuse us of being rapists, and white people would just believe them. That's how they sell war. That's how they sell genocide. That's how they sell imperialism to people who live in the West. Just accuse their enemies of engaging in mass rape. I broke this down on the channel many times before, but we got new viewers. 2,200 people watching across X and YouTube. So let me explain this again. And I'm not even a military expert. I think this is common sense. I'm not even a military expert. This is common sense. Hamas engaged in a military action on October 7th because they have the legal right to resist the occupying power vigil. So October 7th was a military action. It was a very successful military operation where has been confirmed through multiple investigations that Hamas had timed checkpoints because they had a hostage-taking mission. They wanted to take as many hostages as possible. So if you want to take hostages, if you're engaging in a military operation like Hamas is engaging in, you need timed checkpoints, and you need the people on the ground to move extremely fast. If you don't move extremely fast, it will be extremely fatal for you. You want to know how we know this? Because despite what the Western media never told you, do you guys know that around 300 to 400 Hamas fighters died on October 7th? Do you guys know that? They never mention that, don't they? Around 300 to 400 Hamas fighters died on October 7th. So it was a violent war zone, which was extremely dangerous. And think about it, October 7th was this moment where these Hamas fighters, who are mostly orphans, who've been traumatized, they've been waiting for this moment to engage in this prison break forever. So after finally planning and training, engaging in deep strategy, pulling off on October 7th, what Zionists and what white America, what Justin Trudeau, what Germany, what the entirety of our insane society will have you believe, is during this high-pressure situation where people are watching their comrades die. Once again, imagine you grew up with someone, you train with someone, you build camaraderie with them. They are among the 300 dead in the October 7th operation. You are watching your people be slain left and right. You got bullets flying at you. You got Apache helicopters firing missiles at you. You got settlers shooting at you. You got timed mission objectives that you have to hit. But what the Zionists will have you believe is that Hamas took rape breaks in the middle of that. In the middle of this chaos. The most important moment of every single one of their soldiers' lives, what the West will have you believe, in the middle of this operation, that Hamas stopped, found some Israeli women, took their pants off, got an erection, and proceeded to rape them in the middle of a war zone. You feel stupid for believing that, don't you? You understand that this is a mainstream belief in the West, right? So do we live in a society full of fucking... I gotta censor myself there. I gotta be nice. Do we live in a country full of low-functioning, low-IQ idiots that believe anything? Yeah, maybe. You guys see how ridiculous that October 7th mass rape story always was? You want to know who engages in mass rape? Israel does. The United States Army does. Imperialist does. colonialist does. You want to know why this is? You don't have to be military expert to understand this. You just have to study history. You want to know who engaged in rape? The people who are in control. When you're able to slow it down, when you're occupying power, that hold power over a populace, that is the dynamic which leads to rape. Not opposition forces, not indigenous populations fighting against a colonial power. If people fighting against colonial power where they have no control, they're in no position, and they will never engage in rape. And it doesn't have to happen historically because they don't even have the ability to. Whenever you are a resistance, you are fighting a colonizer in a high pressure military situation. You're never in a position to take rape slaves. You want to know who are? The Japanese who invaded China, who took Chinese women as comfort women. Japanese had time to engage in rape. The Nazis had time to engage in rape. The white men who raped the indigenous, they had time to engage in rape. Resistance movements do not engage in rape. Not only is that story I told you, not only is all of this, is these principles, guys, is it because once you understand these principles, it makes you less likely to believe the bullshit. That's why from the second they released October 7th, mass rape narrative, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But think about all the people who don't know. You had the entirety of the Bernie left. Tell this to Bernie Sanders and watch his head explode. Tell this to Cenk Uygur or Sam Cedar or any motherfucker, watch your head explode. Because even among the Democrats who support Palestine, they're like, oh, well, yeah, I support arms embargo on Israel, but I do condemn Hamas for mass rapes. This is what like the Sam Cedar type would say. What the Kyle Kalinske, this is what Crystal Ball said. I want to condemn Hamas for the mass rapes. I'm an idiot. I don't have any fucking curiosity. Anything that the corporate media tells me, I'm just going to believe. Which is why, if you didn't see through the mass rape BS, I didn't even consider you good on Palestine. People are like, man, don't you know that Crystal Ball and all these liberals, they're doing a good job on Palestine. If you condemn Hamas, you're immediately bad on this issue. You know, oh man, Hamas, they're bad for the Palestinians. Hamas are Palestinians, dipshit. The majority of Hamas are orphans. People that came from families that are Israeli slaughtered, but you want to condemn them based on lies that the establishment tells us. Now you guys see why I'm not allowed on Piers Morgan? Why I'm not allowed on these debate shows? It's fucking, like this person said, they were deeply unserious. They are deeply unserious people. And even the people who are not complete genocidal maniacs, there are people who get the Palestine issue correctly, and they will still repeat the mass rape propaganda, which is meant to dehumanize Black and brown people. Which is why, as an anti-imperialist, as a Marxist, we must reject liberal feminism, which is a scourge on humanity. Western white feminism, whatever you want to fucking call it, have been used by white women as a way to justify imperialism in the police state. So the way they justify Zionism is convincing other white people. You have these white liberal feminists. Oh man, God, we got to stand against the rapists in Palestine. This is part of my decolonizing my mind. I used to fucking support all these people back when I was a more liberal-minded person of years ago. Now I completely reject, and I am oppositional to the feminist, Western feminist movement who labels all Black and brown men as rapists in order to justify the police state agenda. I say all this. I say all this to get back to the main topic. That was a very unplanned rant. Okay, I'll get to super chat soon. But Justin Trudeau, using his character that he's branded as a feminist, Justin Trudeau is a self-described liberal feminist. That was like a big part of his political character. Oh man, I'm the new liberal. I support women. You know what I mean? You guys see how he uses his feminism. We condemn Hamas's terror on October 7th, including sexual violence. And when it comes to pushing the mass rape hoax, there's been no one more prolific than Justin Trudeau. Let's see if I find another receipt. I got through this live stream to get on the fly. I'll tell you, my man, I'm a beast, bro. This is a live stream where I did barely any prep, and we are still 1 hour in with me just ranting. I guess that's what happens when you've been streaming for a few years, I guess. Because I honestly thought it was going to be 30 minutes max. But I'm an hour in. I only got like a third of what I wanted to talk about. But, guys, I have some banger fucking guests coming up. I guess let's take a quick intermission. And I'm going to read a super chat because I know fucking the People Party guy can be on my ass. We have Carl Zah. We have Carl Zah Wednesday. Nick at night. Let's go. Borzoya been in the lab cooking. You know, we had our little break. We had Post Duopoly show Friday. DD Geopolitics. Garland Nixon on Wednesday. The RBN Roundtable with Savvy Sav, JB, Dr. CBS. Now we got Carl Zah coming on Wednesday. Ashton Ratanzi is coming back on the show. Dave DeCamp coming back. So, you know, we're back. You know what I mean? This is Nick at Noon, Nick at Night, season 3. A lot more of these breaking segments. This is another reason why Justin Trudeau resigning and these neoliberals being removed from power should be celebrated. Their embrace of pure, unadulterated fascism. So not only do we have Justin Trudeau that's seizing bank accounts, that cracking down on quote-unquote disinformation, which is the advancement of the Western censorship regime, Justin Trudeau is also on the front lines when it comes to pushing the anti-Semitism hoax, which is going to be used, which is already used, to crack down on the free speech of Americans. And when I say Americans, I mean all Americans. I'm talking about Canadians as well, the entirety of the Americas. So here, Justin Trudeau, who had a conversation with President Isaac Herzog, the war criminal president of the rogue state of Israel. And he spoke to Isaac Herzog a few weeks ago about the quote-unquote disturbing rise in anti-Semitism. We know what that means. We know how Isaac Herzog defined anti-Semitism. We know how the anti-defamation league. We know how all these people define anti-Semitism. They define it as people who don't believe in the right of the Jewish state Israel to exist. Anyone who's critical of their right to defend themselves, they also label anti-Semitic. They label anyone anti-Semitic if you protest their military actions. You guys realize that many of these elite colleges protest, they're not even radical. A lot of these protests, they was protesting their colleges investing in Israel. So they was calling in a massive divestment from Israel because they violate international law. Not a radical position. They was called anti-Semitic for that. So when you say you want to crack down on anti-Semitism, what you are talking about, you're cracking down on speech. Because the position that Israel is a country that does not deserve to exist is 100% correct. Because even if you're not a radical like me, because you must understand, I oppose Israel because I inherently oppose apartheid. I inherently oppose apartheid and imperialism. And Israel exists because of the British mandate, because of British imperialism. As someone who strongly opposes British imperialism, I would oppose any state that comes out from British imperialism. So the Israelis claim they're a liberation movement. How can you be a liberation movement when you got your country from a colonizing power known as fucking Great Britain? There's no way I would ever support that. But let's say I'm not a radical. Let's say I'm not someone who think logically, right? Let's say I am an institutionalist. You understand, if you're an institutionalist, you still should be against Israel, because the establishment of Israel by the UN, by UK and the United States, it was contingent on the creation of a Palestinian state. Israel has blocked the creation of the Palestinian state. The Likud party don't even believe in the concept of a Palestinian state. So if you're an institutionalist, you must oppose Israel, because based on your rules, Israel is literally a rogue regime. That's not me being a radical. That had nothing to do with Marxist ideology. That is literally looking at UN and international law. They are a rogue state based on the facts. But if you believe in the facts, guys, if you repeat the facts based on history and law that I just described, they will call you an anti-Semite. Just to show you how deeply fascist this motherfucker is, as we wrap this hour up, Justin Trudeau even opposes the BDS movement. Do you guys know how much of a fucking unhinged Zionist psychopath you have to be to condemn BDS? BDS is people who are boycotting Israel and their businesses as a way to oppose apartheid. And I think BDS is a strong and legitimate strategy, because I believe we should attack Israel on all fronts. But you guys understand, many people in academia and many people endorse BDS because they endorse that as an alternative to Hamas. So there are many people who are social democrats, or they just pacifists. And guys, I'm not decrying them. I'm not talking shit on them. But there are people who don't believe that Palestinians should take arms against Israelis. That's not my position. I think that Palestinians should resist by all means necessary, including boycotting, right? But there are many people who are brainwashed and don't believe in the right of people to resist. So they say, well, I oppose Hamas. This is the position of Mehdi Hassan. This is the position of every single progressive bread tuber you ever seen talk about this issue. Their position is, I condemn Hamas, I condemn Palestinian resistance, but I support BDS because that's the peaceful way to oppose apartheid. In a sense, they are right that BDS is a peaceful way to oppose apartheid in the genocidal state of Israel. So do you guys understand how unhinged you have to be to oppose the non-violent solution to opposing Israel? So the people who oppose the BDS movement, like Justin Trudeau, and literally every single person in Washington, including people like Jamal Bowman, you guys know Nina Turner said she opposed BDS when she was running against Chantel Brown, and then people wonder why I didn't fucking support her and why I hated Nina Turner. If you oppose BDS, the message you're sending to anti-apartheid activists, the message that you're saying to Palestinians is that you have no option. There's nothing that you can do to resist Israel. Shut the fuck up and take it. Because this is them taking non-violent protest off the table. So that's why the concept of a liberal Zionist is an oxymoron, really. It's really bullshit. Because even the most liberal Zionists will oppose something like BDS. Let me fact check myself here. I'm going to fact check myself before I say it. But I'm pretty sure Bernie Sanders doesn't support BDS. Yes, I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember this clear day. Actually, I found this article, but I remember Bernie Sanders saying that he opposes BDS because he opposes sanctions generally against countries as he supported sanctions against Russia. So as I fact check myself here, I think Bernie Sanders didn't oppose the anti-BDS bill, which is great, but I don't think he supports BDS. Feel free, fact check me in the chat as well. I never try to spread misinformation on the channel. But I remember this clear as day. I really want to find this so I can show you guys. Oh, let me do a quick search. Bernie. Because I was fucking swear to God I remember this. Because I remember someone clapped his ass. Oh, wait, this is a video. I'm doing this live, guys. Self-proclaimed Zionist Bernie Sanders unequivocally opposes BDS. Something that should be the bare minimum. Once again, I said this on RB in a long time. BDS is the starting point. Like it is the red line. If you don't support BDS, I don't want to hear from you. That's why I like Nina Turner when she got an interview. I remember this clear as day because I was explaining this to people. She was trying to court the Jewish voters in her district that hated her ass. So she was like, no, I don't support BDS. The second you say that, you're dead to me. Actually, let's see what he had to say here.
This letter also denounces the boycott, divestment, sanctions movement known as BDS. You, in your lifetime, are a longtime proponent of nonviolent protests.
Yep.
This, in the eyes of many Palestinians, is the effective way to get Israel to comply with international law and respect Palestinian human rights. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. I mean,
Bro, for all the people that think Bernie is back, Bernie is a Zionist maniac. Oh, man, I don't support Hamas. Hamas is evil. I don't support Palestinian right to self-resist. Oh, do you support the nonviolent version too? Nope. The fuck you talking about? What are you talking about, Bernie? The people who still like this motherfucker, you're delusional. How do you oppose? Yeah, I'm glad I'll show you guys this because I wanted to make sure I remember this correctly. Let's hear his explanation. And this journalist nails Bernie here because she explains that you against the legal right to Palestinians to resist. Okay, you're radical. So do you believe in BDS?
Human rights. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. I mean, look, I respect people will do what they want to do, but I think our job as a nation is to do everything humanly possible to bring Israel and the Palestinians and the entire Middle East to the degree that we can together. But no, I'm not a supporter of that.
So he doesn't oppose Zionism. Bernie wants to bring the Middle East together so they can support the existence of Israel. What do you think he means when he said bring the Middle East together? He wants the Middle East to come together on the status quo of Israel existing and being a genocidal state. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable that people think Bernie's good on this issue. He doesn't call it a genocide. He doesn't support BDS and doesn't even give a good reason. Not in this clip. Now, we'll go off my memory here. I remember Bernie saying, and I'm going to see if I can find the clip. I remember Bernie specifically saying the reason why he's against BDS is because he opposes sanctions against countries generally, which is bullshit because he voted for Russian sanctions. He voted for the sanctions for Venezuela. Actually, I got to fact check that. Anyway, the point is he's a fucking hypocrite. But anyway, I think I got through everything. Here's one more receipt. Pretty good. 1 hour for a breaking news show. I didn't really plan. Oh yeah, super chats. Big shout out to this super chat. I read this earlier. Excuse me. Man, there's so much fucking snow outside, man. The thing is, I'm trapped at home. I'm gonna be bored all day. It's fucking a shit show outside in Kansas City right now. So here's the super chat that official People's Party wanted me to read. Need to teach Frederick Engels social murder. Remember, Marx was not the genius. Engels was. Marx was just a plagiarizing publisher. Very well said. Thank you for $5. Official People's Party USA. And appreciate Joseph being a member. I know they got a lot in Houston as well. But damn, they about suck. I had to do the stream right now because both my brothers who live with me, they're home too. I do this while they're not on the internet. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the show. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys check to see if you're still subscribed because before the new year, YouTube purged over 2,000 of our followers or subscribers. I think the number is like 2,500 they officially removed. Which was bullshit. So make sure you guys check to see if you're subscribed. YouTube are trying to kill my channel. So make sure you guys support us on Patreon. and all our other social media, because I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube ends this shit this year because of what they're doing to our channel. So please share. I need you guys to share, spread the word, help us break the algorithm who wants us dead. So I appreciate everyone for watching. I think we have a great showing. 2,600 people on YouTube and X. I think we have 450 people on YouTube live right now for an unplanned stream. I think that's pretty good. So as we wrap up, I'm going to show you guys Justin Trudeau being booed for supporting genocide. Thank you guys for watching this morning. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Take care. Peace out, y'all.
We have the Prime Minister here. We have ministers of the Crown here. We have MPs here. We ask all of you. We ask all of you to listen to him. And if you want, please engage in dialogue.
How many more Palestinian children need to be slaughtered? How many more before you call for a ceasefire?
Boo! Boo!
That's 6,500 under the rubble. 2,000 children. Shame on you. This man won't even call for a ceasefire to stop the slaughter of Palestinian women, children, and men. Shame, shame, shame. Don't use your human card. I'm just don't invite it. Upstairs.
Don't on one side. Be peaceful. Be Canadian. We stand up for truth and justice.